So it's called Operation March Sadness, and the Polk County Sheriff's Department basically set up a sting, Polk County, Florida. And in that sting, they arrested Disney employees for sex trafficking. Now, on the surface, look, this has happened before. Florida, Disney is basically a magnet for child predators and predators at large. I mean, you know, look, these people put themselves in places where they can actually go after their prey. They're not normal people, okay? So you will find these people as, hey Dave, public school teachers. Vast majority of pedophiles are public school teachers. I hate to tell you that. I hate to break it to all the anti-Catholic bigots. Okay, they work with children. They put themselves in places where they can have contact. Just recently, they had arrested someone in Orlando for pedophilia. It's not part of this sting. But what if I told you that Bob Chapek and Ron DeSantis, who don't hate each other, basically had an agreement? Go after him. Okay? If, let's say, like, and I'm not going to say that, Gavin Newsom would ever do this because he's got friends in Hollywood who are probably are pedos. But what if they started arresting people like that at the Disney park in Anaheim? I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of them there. Okay, there are a lot. And I'm going to tell you something else. The people that are mortally offended by a bill that has nothing to do with their life's choices are the ones that are terrified of cops knocking on the door. Can I see your computer? Okay. But this is a double-edged sword. Okay. If they start, let's say, or the federal government, all right, whatever, let's say, the FBI gets involved. Okay. They start arresting people. They have federal charges. Those aren't fun. And, doing time in federal pummy in the ass prison wouldn't exactly be on my list of vacation spots. But think about it. Think about it. The reason why people like Jeffrey Epstein end up committing suicide is because they have all the names. But if you've got law enforcement who is not connected to any of that, digging into this, and let me tell you something, the dickheads who want to walk out, who started their own Twitter account, they're the ones that are terrified because no one's going to protect them. Okay? They've been put up to do this. It's time to start going, who's really in charge of this shit? And then go, that's who you should go after. But I'm starting to believe, and looking at who they arrested, that, look, I think Chapek probably knows who some of these people are. I think that Disney gets complaints. They're sent to his office. He's got names. Okay? All right? And unlike Bob Iger, he gave them to DeSantis. That's what I think. And I think I wouldn't doubt it that in Anaheim, that those kind of complaints go to him. And, a police officer, a police captain, isn't necessarily bound to defend or hide a crime if he's not connected straight to the governor's office. Okay? And you can rest assured that a lot of these people will be thrown under the bus in order to protect the bigwigs. All right? But we have a problem within our own group. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll see people who absolutely fucking swear that Tom Hanks is a pedophile. No proof. They heard it from somewhere. There was a crazy girl on Twitter, the only person I've ever seen actually say anything about him. And she was absolutely delusional, and she disappeared. She's not dead. She's probably in a mental hospital. Okay? She basically was trying to insinuate that Hanks bought her from her own father. I'm like, I need a judge's ruling. All right, I'm going to be the defense attorney. I'm defending this guy in lieu of this woman's allegations. Ma'am, where is your direct evidence? There you go. There's no direct evidence. She's nuts. Case closed. I need direct evidence. Okay. Tom Hanks has never come off that way to me. Ever. This is a made-up Pollyanna delusion by people on the right so they can hate Hollywood more. So what they did is they heard, some rumors, or there's a Hollywood gossip site where no one ever gives out their names. No one ever gives out their names. And they say horrendous shit about Hanks and Spielberg, was part of the cabal that hurt Heather O'Rourke, and that's why she died, blaming him for it. And it's like, she wasn't working for him when she was hurt and died. Okay? I believe she was molested. I just don't believe he was part of it. Okay? All right? There are predators within the ranks. David Geffen. Okay? Yeah, I'm calling him out. Bryan Singer. There you go. All right. And those are the obvious ones. All right. The funny thing is that these people who want to accuse Spielberg and Hanks of horrendous things never come up with those names. All right. And it's like, look, you know what? If you're going to sit here and sound like Alex Jones, you can go over there and talk to yourself, because I don't have time. All right? As someone who carries a gun, concealed carry, even if it was allowed to be, open carry, I would not let anyone know I had one. It's just a little, I don't want to be a target. Okay? That's it. You're not intimidating someone who is bent on killing people. You're going to be the first to get shot. Okay, if you're not ready for it. So it's better to pretend you're just an innocent dude or dudette walking through the world. And I listened to a lot of defense attorneys. And after listening to them, after listening to people like Alan Dershowitz, all right, even the worst of the worst deserve a fair trial. The reason why you have a right to an attorney, and you don't have to talk to the cops, and you don't talk to the cops when something bad goes down, you don't, is because what you saw, your reaction, and what happened is not going to come out of your mouth immediately after. Too many people have been convicted wrongly, in my opinion, because they spewed when they should have shut their mouths and waited for their attorney. Okay. Cops get 48 hours of rest or concurrent sleep, whatever it is, before they have to go through a board talking about a justified shooting. Okay. Everybody deserves that. Okay, and my thing when I talk about, as a Catholic, there are priests who've been wrongly accused of pedophilia. Okay, all right, I'm not saying that it never happened. But I'm saying that there are priests who are in jail right now who didn't do a goddamn thing. Okay? There are innocent men, right? That makes me mad. And that is unjust. And that is not right. Okay? Which is why you have a defense attorney. All right? My thing is I need direct evidence. Oh God, what happened? A friend of mine, something happened with a friend, and I wanted to ask hard questions. Okay? And I didn't do it because if I'd caught him in a lie, and I know I could catch him in a lie if I know I could, I would have said, this is bullshit, I can't be here anymore. Okay? You know, it's just one of those things where you know. And that's what a defense attorney does. They ask, hey, Grandmaster Jim, they ask the hard questions. They ask questions that embarrass people. In private, attorney-client privilege, okay? But the attorney needs to know everything that happened in order to defend that defendant. Okay, that's why they ask. All right. Now, the attorney finds out the defendant was lying, they can walk away, which, I'm sorry, it's fine. What I'm saying is that we have a problem on our side, and the internet perpetuates it. I don't believe in following gossip sites about people when they're not there to defend themselves. It's a joke to me, and you know, as a Catholic, it's a grave sin. It's bearing false witness. So I'm sorry, I can't do it. But when we've got police officers arresting predators that work for Disney, sex trafficking, how'd that happen? Well, they do this every year. And they always arrest Disney employees. Always. But if they start arresting people that work at Anaheim, studio employees, look, these people go online to find their victims too. A lot of these guys were caught bragging about it online. All right, one of them was a lifeguard at the Polynesian Resort at Disney World. Okay? It's one of those things that you've got to think about. Where could this go? Now, where are the protests going? They'll probably disappear in 3, 2, 1. Because look, if the cops start sniffing around the studios, start finding stuff online and connecting it to, you know, Lucasfilm or Marvel or Pixar, who are very concerned about being allowed to teach this shit to little kids. You know, that could be a big thing. And I'm telling Puck right now, Matt Bellany, you have not made the right choices in allying yourself with these people. Not. I would run as far away as I could. Because if the federal government gets involved in looking around, it wouldn't surprise me. If the Anaheim County Sheriff's Office starts sniffing around, you see a lot of people getting in trouble. Now, I'll tell you something, if the federal government gets involved, San Francisco is not exactly out of their jurisdiction, okay? They take this stuff very seriously, all right? I'm just telling you, this is the reality of the situation. Now, Chris Cuomo is demanding $125 million to shut up from CNN. When you look at that, it's like, oh, it's just Chris Cuomo. But it gives light into the reason why Disney maybe won't just push Kennedy to the curb. First off, there's a rumor that if any of her movies make $1 billion, even if it barely crosses the $1 billion line, which Rise of Skywalker did, she automatically gets a renewal. I mean, that was a contract. But what does the contract contain? I looked on Leslie Headland's thing today. The Acolyte's listed as an unnamed Star Wars project on her own page, and it says development. When you look at the Acolyte, it says pre-production, but a name is missing from the production team. Kathy Kennedy. I think it's already, I think what they're going to do is they will probably end up telling Headland, you can keep the project, but you got to take Star Wars off of it. And she'll go shop it to Netflix, which she has a relationship there, or Amazon. Amazon's got money to burn. I mean, Jeff Bezos is so freaking rich. It's gross, and he is gross. Balding, ego-driven freak that he is. And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't see this going anywhere at Lucasfilm. I really don't. None of this stuff is... Now, there's also a rumor that David Lindelof is getting a Star Wars movie, feature film, but I don't think so. And John Watt, who did Spider-Man, a TV show. Let me explain something. Those two have relationships with Jon Favreau. Lindelof wrote Cowboys and Aliens, and Watt is a former old school Marvel guy. Okay, so they have relationships. Now, do I believe it? No, I don't. There's nothing, I mean, there's absolutely nothing out there saying that there are movies, feature films in the works right now. Now, are there secret projects being planned? Probably, but they're long, in the way far away stage yet. Now, someone said WDW Pro mentioned the sequel trilogy and Hosnian Prime and all the rest of it. I haven't been able to find that article. But I want to say something. They can use some of the things from there. But it doesn't mean that it's going to the sequel trilogy. All right. Grand Admiral Thrawn was picked up out of the EU. Okay. Other characters have been pulled up from the EU, circumstances, etc. I mean, look at where Coruscant came from. Coruscant came from Heir of the Empire. It wasn't in the movies till George Lucas grabbed it and said, there you go. So we're just going to have to see, but again, financially, the sequel trilogy is not viable. And it would be stupid of Lucasfilm and Disney to follow it. I mean, I'm saying this purely from the mind of someone who listens to money managers and looks at the economics of it. A terrible, terrible business decision. And I'm sure that Hasbro's like, we're not making any of those. We don't make any money on it. Disney's got a lot to make up in money that they lost with the sequel trilogy. And I'm going to say a word about Kennedy. Everybody in Hollywood knows she fucked up. Everybody. All right, it's the unspoken. It's the unspoken word in the smoke-filled room. Okay, they all know it. All right, the rumor out there that she was wandering around looking for another situation for herself, it wouldn't surprise me that was true. You know, I mean, it's obvious. So when you see her, it's like everybody's sitting at a table, she's there, and everyone's like really nice to her face, and she gets up and everyone's like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. You know, they're talking about her when she's not in the room. Okay, because they know she fucked up. All right, she knows it. They know it. But these are people who will ride the rocket of bullshit till they're forced to not ride it anymore. Okay, it's just the way it is, guys. It is just the way it is. That is the way Hollywood works. But as far as any of this going to the sequel trilogy, you'd have to be crazy to take good money and throw it after bad. That's what they would be doing. Okay. Anyway. But about all of this stuff going on in Florida, expect more arrests because Polk County is not the only county that sets up stings. Okay, expect more arrests. All right, it's just what happens. Again, Florida does this every year. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something else. It was really after these people who attack little kids, the Trump administration, they went after them. They arrested thousands. Okay, the FBI under President Trump arrested thousands of pedophiles. Another reason why certain people in Hollywood hate Trump, because he was gunning for them. And I want to tell you something else. He hung out with them. He knew what they were. He knew exactly what they were. That's why they're afraid of him. Fear makes you irrational, okay? It makes you crazy, all right? These people are terrified. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I think that the bullshit walkouts will disappear, all right? These people get wind that Anaheim County Sheriff is looking at, is you know, starting to sniff around, they'll back off because there's a reason why some of these people are like that and want and demanded an audience with the CEO and blah blah blah. They're pedophiles themselves. Okay, that's what they are. That's what they do. Okay, you gotta understand, these people wanted to preach to kids because they want to make more of themselves. Okay. It's an evolutionary dead end. You can't, there's nothing about creating a human life in these relationships. It's an evolutionary dead end, and it's what I'm going to say. It's extinction level evolutionary dead end. Okay, it just doesn't. All right, now that's my personal opinion. Am I going to judge my friends who know this? No. Okay. I'm not, look, judge not lest ye be judged isn't one word in the Bible. That whole thing is a long quote. Okay. All right. But I can demand children are protected. I can demand that people watch what they say around little kids. I can demand teachers not teach that. Okay, I gotta live in the world with these people too. All right, and if I'm an advocate for anybody, I'm an advocate for innocent childhood to be what that is. Innocent childhood. I'm an advocate for little boys to have heroes, alpha male heroes. I'm an advocate for little girls to have decent women to look up to, not purple-haired land whales or screeching psychopaths like Amy Schumer, okay, or oh God, Kathy Griffin. All right, they're not. There's nothing. All right, I'm an advocate for that. I'm not an advocate for people harming little kids, and that's what they're advocating. All right, that they're advocating that, and Disney should not put up with their shit. So if you hear people getting arrested, look, Disney had a vice president arrested for pedophilia a while back. All right, very front page news. I remember that. So they do have a problem with that. And I'm going to say this again. The people who are pissed off at JPEG at Disney are the same people that the cops go, oh, can I talk to you? Interesting pictures you have on your computer. You know? It is just that way. And to the awfuls who support them, I would watch who I befriend. All right. Consenting adults is one thing. Predating on a 10-year-old boy or girl is, in my opinion, a lynching offense. Okay? And anybody protecting anybody like that should go right up on the scaffold with the perpetrator, as far as I'm concerned. All right? Hey, age boomer. It is just, I am just that way. All right? So, if you start hearing about people in Anaheim getting arrested, people at the studios getting arrested, see, that's where I would look, especially at Pixar. All right? And Marvel, but Pixar. But why? There has to be a reason why they were freaking out about all this. They're scared shitless. All right? They're scared. They're upset that Disney won't let them do what they're doing. They're upset that they don't get to force their weirdness on little kids anymore. You know? I'm just saying it. So, my thing is, watch and see what happens in the next month. But I guarantee you, if it gets out there, even if it's not in the press, that the Anaheim County Sheriff is starting to look around, and I would assume even the Los Angeles County Sheriff would like to get his hands on some of these people. He seems like a straight shooter. I mean, scared. Those people are scared shitless. All right, this is why they're doing what they're doing. They're reading all over the place because they know that they're about to be shut down. And the reason why is because people got to make money. That's a pragmatic and practical approach. Not making any money. I mean, well, and that's an age boomer's got a point. I would say you're going to see people in California get arrested. You're going to probably hear rumblings of Pixar maybe being put up for sale. They don't have to keep it. They need the money. This is where the unruly mob is. I mean, I'm going to tell you something else. You know who basically put a thing, we support our LGBTQ employees, blah, 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 but didn't attack Disney? Lucasfilm. I'm saying nothing about Disney. All right? And it was after Chapek apologized. Doomcock was right today in his video. He never should have apologized. But in some way, maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know what that reason would be, but maybe when you think about it, there was a reason for it. Anyway, I've been on for a half hour. You know, the stuff with The Acolyte was very interesting. If you have an IMDb Pro account, go look at Headland's thing and then go look at The Acolyte. There's something odd about all of this. So this is Steph signing out. I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Thanks for stopping in the chat. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please like and share. You know, and if people get pissed off at me, I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. All right. I'm sick of the shit. We have little kids to protect, and it's time we do it. All right. Steph signing out.